What's going on, Attacker Squad? It's your boy Roman, aka Mr. Enemy 343, and today I wanted to actually give you guys my personal thoughts on something. This has actually been bugging me since, work came in. Whoop, sorry guys, technical difficulties here. All right, there, much better. So anyway, 2 years, 2 years, zero evidence against Vic Mignona. Quite frankly, I am just sick and tired of all these people just pushing this narrative that basically we're the bad people in all of this. But you see, here's the thing. You got people like, Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, LJ Montello, Mars Girl, all these other people that are actually prominent KickVic members. They're actually still talking crap about Vic, whereas we, on the other hand, are just moving on. They don't actually see the folly of their own issues. Quite frankly, I am just so freaking irritated by this crap. Also, if anybody wants to actually join in, I'm gonna leave a comment to the chat, and if you guys are interested in joining, okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. Hold on just a second, guys. So I'll just leave the link to the leave a link to the. Here we go. So if anybody actually sees it, that's where you can actually come and join in. I mean, I would love to actually hear your guys' opinion about this as well. So, well, but anyway, 2 years, zero evidence, multiple accusations. This crap really needs to freaking stop. Period. I'm actually just gonna say it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Okay. We're tired of this crap. I'm tired of this. I want to move on. But yet, people like Underdog BT, all these other people that actually, say stuff like, why can't KickVic just leave Vic alone? That's a good question, Moragana. I wish I had an answer for you, but apparently, oh my god. I totally do not understand at all. Okay. I totally get where you're coming from and all that, but they just actually want, one thing and one thing in particular, and that is relevancy. Because, basically they actually adore all the likes and retweets that they can get by, making someone, a social pariah, for instance. Like they're trying to make Vic Mignogna the next Harvey Weinstein because this all started from the Me Too movement. And I seriously hate that crap. It started off good because basically, you got actually, some really bad dudes in like, in Hollywood, doing some shady crap. And they don't actually per se do stuff, but they actually do some stuff behind the scenes. And there's actually multiple victims. But my thing is, where are the police reports in all of this? Why didn't they actually go to the police when it happened? There's a crime being committed, but yet, they're just keeping it mum. Mum is the word. But it's just mind-boggling to me, guys. In fact, hang on just a second. I just gotta see something here real quick. All right, I'm back. Besides, I just actually had to share the message around with some other people as well. Hopefully, they can actually join in and get their input as well. But like I was saying, 2 years, zero evidence, and a freaking. Okay, Morgana says, out of curiosity, is there any other dub actors who's going through Vic is? Because I don't want to lose someone like Johnny on Bosch or Steve Bloom next. I think they actually did the same thing with Todd Habercorn. I mean, with freaking Dominique Sky and all that crap. And yet, she's actually also a prominent member of KickVic. And here's the thing: she actually accused him of the same things that Vic Mignona did, but unlike Vic, however, Todd kept the receipts. So yeah, I don't want to actually have the next person act, because trying to cancel someone is actually just blatantly stupid, if you ask me. But like I said, I just actually really hope to actually get some more guests on here. If anybody's actually like I've been saying, if anybody wants to actually chime in on this, the link is right there in the chat. So just come pop on and say hi, say whatever is actually on your mind. I'll be more than happy to actually listen to you. This is our little safe space per se, but basically not like a SJW safe space. No, this is actually our little way of actually, venting our frustrations, venting, any issues we have or anything like that. This is our little time to actually get together and just be ourselves. If you guys actually really liked Sunday's live stream, basically, I'm actually looking forward for more of those as well. Try to actually just let off some steam, just be ourselves, and just enjoy life as it is. But like I said, if anybody wants to join in, they're more than welcome to join in. I just actually really hope I get some guests going, because I already sent the link out to some people. I just hope that they got the message. Yeah, so far it's only one person, but I'm just really thankful that you're here. I'm not really much of a rant person, but this whole freaking Emmett Plant canceling Vic Mignona over the Star Trek con is actually just absolutely freaking disgusting as hell, if you ask me. You see, he doesn't actually have any evidence against Vic Mignona. He just actually told the Chinese whispers through the grapevine about Vic being a sex pest, when it's actually Emmett Plant that's the sex pest. But here's the thing: people usually think, they don't think with their freaking brains. They don't actually go and say, "Oh, well, where's the evidence about this?" Evidence? What evidence are you talking about? The evidence to actually prove that Vic is actually considered a sex pest? This is just completely stupid, if you ask me, guys. If the rumors are true about Vic opening his own dub company, I would support him in a heartbeat. Yeah, same here. Same here. I would totally do the same thing. We need more independent companies that are willing to actually, make their own stuff. But instead, whenever SJWs tell us, hang on just a second, it's the ND girl. Hang on just a second.
Hello.
Hello. Hang on just a second. Anyway, well, here we go. I was actually just starting my stream about talking about freaking this whole debacle between Vic Mignona and Emmett Plant. Oh god, this is really freaking pissing me off.
Give me a second. My fan's a little loud.
I understand.
Louisiana weather.
Yeah.
Half the time it's unbearable heat, and half the time it's unbearable cold.
Yeah, I'm still dealing with the cold up here in Maine, so I know how you feel. Because basically it's almost spring here, and oh god, I just can't stand this crap. All this cancel culture BS that's been happening is freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, didn't we find out some information? Oh yeah, I watched a video by that umbrella guy, I believe, and he read some of the comments that Emmett said in a Discord, and I'm like, this makes me uncomfortable, and it's not even directed at me.
Exactly. But you see, they actually would rather believe Emmett Plant over Vic Mignona. Because apparently, 2 years, 2 freaking years, and zero evidence. Okay, where are the freaking police reports? Where are the freaking victims that were saying by none other than, what do I want to say there? Rontoye, that basically there's like,
I don't believe wife beaters. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Basically, I don't believe wife beaters either. Basically, that guy is just so demented.
Or in Abuser Heard's case, husband beaters.
Exactly. And this is why we need justice for both Vic Mignogna and Johnny Depp.
I want them to be in a dystopian zombie apocalypse movie as brothers. Vic would be the older one because he was born a year before Johnny.
That would be definitely interesting to see.
And the best part is, no one at Funimation who backstabbed him would be able to stand it, because now Vic gets bragging rights of working with a big time celebrity, whereas they're stuck trying to sound like teenage girls and stuff. But they don't sound like teenage girls anymore. They sound like withered hags who need to retire or start playing old lady characters. And I think that's the reason why they're just now starting to inject new blood, is because Monica and Marchie pretty much realize, oh shit, if we hire younger women, they're liable to be chosen more for the teenage girl roles, because the teenage girl roles would sound more natural with them, because they're basically at an age where they, not too long ago, were teenagers.
Exactly. But, here's the thing. They just want to keep holding on to that power just because, hang on. Anyways, what would you consider the holy trinity of dub actors? For me, it's Vic Mignogna, Johnny Young Bosch, and Steve Blum.
Who'd be the Virgin Mary?
The Virgin Mary?
Yeah, you gotta have at least one chick, or the SJWs will throw a hissy fit. So who'd be the Virgin Mary?
I'd actually have to say, I really like Caitlin Glass, though.
Yeah, I like her too. Plus, she's been staying out of it. Doesn't matter who she sides with, she knows, if I say anything, my career is fucked no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So, basically, my hands down, Caitlin Glass.
She was very good as Haruhi in Ouran High School Host Club.
Yeah, and basically, I really love her when she actually plays Mina Ashido from My Hero Academia.
No wonder I like Mina more than Suyu in the English dub. I watch it for free online because I refuse to let Funimation have one fucking red cent after what they did to Vic.
Yeah, well, guess what? I ain't paying freaking. I mean, I'm still pretty freaking pissed over the Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid freaking dub. Because all the freaking pesky patriarchal societal demands kicking on my nerves, I had to change my clothes.
Yeah. Yo, learning about another country's culture, who needs that?
Exactly. And that's why Japan is actually speaking out against this. It's because, A, it's their country and their anime, and B, they're actually freaking not getting as much money from, the West and other countries because they just keep freaking injecting the money from the said shows into certain, issues that they actually just pretend to fight for.
I'm sorry, but unless the anime is focusing on real life politics, you should not put real life politics in fucking anime.
Amen, hallelujah, and freaking peanut butter to that. You actually heard it here, folks. This is just, the ramblings of two I Stand With Vic people, and we're just actually taking a stance against those who actually say we don't want, real world politics in our entertainment.
I was
If you want,
actually talking to one of my anonymous sources while waiting for the link to be sent because I didn't want to get into like Candy Crush or something and miss it.
oh, well,
And
anyway.
And they brought up a good point. What would happen if Vic turned out gay, while Monica and Marchie wouldn't have a leg to stand on because of course, that would also explain why Vic doesn't, besides the fact they like to get in people's personal space, but that would explain Vic's face having that look of, I am miserable inside. I am very miserable when they drape themselves on him. But I pointed out that these people would probably on KV would probably be like, oh well, then he probably harassed Tatum and little boys too. Because KV would do that. They'd be like, oh, he's gay? Well, he did this to the only other gay guy at Funimation.
Yo, Anime Lord, what's up, man? You there? He kind of muted himself. Oh, that sucks. Can you hear us now or something? Are you there?
I hope this isn't like Discord where half the time it's, and now for cut.
Yep.
And that's why I don't eat pie anymore.
Nope. It's just ridiculous how people are these days. They actually would rather believe women over, I'm actually more of a believer of facts and evidence.
Yeah,
because
that's what pisses me off about the whole Johnny case. He has recordings. There are people who are like, actually, Amber's the bigger bitch. Hell, a thing where she claimed a straight male cop manhandled her turned out to be a lesbian cop.
Holy shit. Oh, God. And yet, that's why people are actually so sick and tired of freaking, Amber Heard. Or Amber Turd, for this matter.
Yeah, Amber and Bob Chapek or whatever from Disney are now officially on my list of people to punch if I ever meet them in real life.
Yeah, we might be having some technical difficulties for Anime Lord, but I hope he actually does come back and fixes whatever issues he's having. So,
because I am sorry, I still believe Vic's innocent, but
so do I.
But at least in this case, he hasn't really brought anything besides his own words to say otherwise. Though I'm still saying that whole forced himself on a woman in an elevator thing hasn't happened, because you can't tell me no one who has the footage from the elevator didn't post that shit somewhere.
Exactly, but you know, in this day and age, it's actually believe all women's.
In this day and age, it's basically women should not have left the kitchen if we had known this was going to be the stupidity.
Oh God, this
And
actually.
I hate to use that because I think women should have a chance to be in the workplace and stuff. But when you get shit like this, it's like, maybe we should have stayed in the fucking kitchen, because we're apparently the sex that gets drunk with power easily.
In fact, Morgana here actually brings up a good point. You know, now that I think about it, the political stuff only makes things worse. And yeah, I totally agree 100% because it's like what Nuxtaku said. Basically, politics is the most toxic fandom in all the world.
I love Nuxtaku. I would love
Yeah.
to see him do a video where, under an alt account, he basically acts like the biggest male chauvinist pig he can to all these thoughts on Twitch, and basically donates like a bug saying, "Hey, why aren't you in the kitchen making me a sandwich or a pie?" Hell, if I had the money to spend, I would do it and post it on my own YouTube channel. And if anyone says, "Well, you're wrong for doing that, you man," I'd be like, clearly you've never seen any of my older videos where my face is in view and I am a woman with big honking tits.
It seems the Amulord's still actually having some technical issues. Hopefully you
Vic
can get
hates
that.
them today.
I know. Besides, sometimes StreamYard sucks, but this is best way I've actually had a live stream because basically I really hate how YouTube always actually has like all these requirements for like you actually have to have at least 1,000 subscribers if you actually want to freaking stream from a mobile phone. It's like, yeah, and you actually have to follow their guidelines as well.
And I love the people who don't seem to get, the more you complain, the more people are gonna keep talking about it. I mean, KV keeps saying, "Oh, I stand with Vic," keeps it going. I'm like, I haven't really talked about Vic in a while. I've been focusing on Johnny Depp because it blows my mind that people would still defend his ex when there is fucking proof that she's a psycho bitch.
Give me a second. At this time, I actually freaking want to just crack one open.
And I have not forgotten Marzipan. I call her Marzipan because she seems sweet, but it'll eventually give you diabetes, or if you have a tree nut allergy, kill you because it's made from almonds.
Oh God, Marzipan. I usually like to call her Arms Girl.
Well, you can call her that. I call her Marzipan because sweet, but will eventually kill you, especially if you have a tree nut allergy.
Yeah, exactly. It's just ridiculous how she is. Or like you got Renthimus, you got LJ Montello, all these other people. Ugh.
Considering her buck teeth, I'm surprised no one has put her on a beaver yet.
Oh, God. I think Yellow Flash did that.
But she was never popular. She's only doing this shit for clout. When she was on Channel Awesome, people watched newcomers like Blockbuster Buster more than her. And she was on there years before Blockbuster Buster or Erod was there. And I am disappointed in Erod for siding with her. It's like, dude, don't side with her. She will throw you under the bus if it'll get her what she wants.
Exactly. But here's the thing. People always kind of tend to, pander to SJWs in hopes not to get canceled. But instead, we need to actually learn to actually stand our ground. Like Top Hat Studios, for instance, when they actually made Sense of Cyberpunk Ghost Story, and just tell these people, we refuse to actually bend the knee to you. We actually refuse to actually censor ourselves, and we refuse to actually listen to you guys.
This is why I love Japan, specifically the companies that make the anime, because they're getting yelled at by American people who is maybe a second in where they get most of the cash, the first being their own damn country. And Japan's like, fuck you, this is our thing. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it anymore. We won't lose sleep if you don't buy our anime licensing.
Exactly. But, they just act, they don't. Plus, also, another thing, Uzaki-chan, Miss Nagatoro, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2, all examples of, the Streisand effect. They don't understand that the more they actually screech about something, the more popular it's going to get.
It's actually why I checked out Rising of the Shield Hero. And I point and laugh at people who claim it was written by a man, because you find out it was a woman who wrote that.
Also, it turns out that Rita a Healer was actually also written by a sexual assault victim.
Is the creator male or female? Because if they're male, well, they don't matter to these assholes.
I do not know. I wish I had an answer for you. I mean,
Again,
basically,
that's what pisses me off. Something I hate very much is hypocrisy.
exactly. I actually hate.
That's what pisses me off about the people defending Amber, saying, "Oh, she's a victim." And I like, victim nothing. She abused poor Johnny, and you know that Johnny couldn't fight back, because if he did, even if he said it was in self-defense, he'd have been the fucking one arrested because he hit a woman. Even if it was in fucking self-defense. Meanwhile, women know that if they have a guy who's not going to fight back, they can basically hit him with a frying pan if they want, and nothing will happen because the guy won't admit that he's an abuse victim. Between the whole, all right, yeah, you're abused by your woman, and the fact that they can't hit a woman back because she can easily call the cops and say, "Oh, he hit me."
Yeah, you know what's actually really missing? Truth nowadays. I mean, basically, if you were to put like freaking like Monica Rial, Jamie Markey, like Mars Girl, freaking like Dominique Sky, or like Amber Heard for this matter, on like a lie detector test, I bet you they'll actually just fail that crap like on the fly.
It'd be that scene from the Simpsons episode where they had the X-Files crossover. Do you understand how this works? Yes. And the machine blows up.
Okay, Morgana asks, speaking of Radio a Healer, will there be a Blu-ray for the series? I know they're actually selling it in Germany, but I really hope that Sentai Film actually does make it. So it's just going to take some time for it to actually, get like, properly, distributed. And basically, we're actually up to like episode 9 of the series so far. And I really want to see it uncensored though, because I usually prefer watching anime uncensored, like without all this, like, the black, like all the black shadowing and stuff like that.
That was what I hated about For Shame. And while it's fun to use on Lost Pause because he gets upset about it, the whole jelly donut. As a kid, I'm like, that's not a jelly donut. I didn't even know what a rice ball was at the time, but they said nothing beats a jelly filled donut. I'm like, That's not a jelly-filled donut. That looks nothing like a jelly-filled donut. It looks like rice to me.
Yeah, they don't understand the difference between an onigiri, which is actually a traditional Japanese rice ball, or a jelly-filled donut.
Hold on. Let me turn my alert off on my phone. Otherwise, you're going to hear Bink Saki the whole time.
Good idea. I mean, that's why that's why I actually have my phone set to vibrate.
I mean, and then when they said grape juice for the wine scene in One Piece, when they eventually recruit Sanji, I'm like, why are you acting like grape juice is a fine wine or something? Because I am from Louisiana. I am of French descent, so from a young age, you know what wine is.
Exactly, but they just want to numb it down for the the kids type group, because they don't want to actually deal with screeching soccer mom saying, "My little Billy was actually watching One Piece, and basically now he's actually smoking, drinking, and actually fighting with other kids."
And if I was in that position, I'd be like, where the fuck were you to tell your kid not to be smoking, drinking, and fighting?
Exactly. But they just want to freaking make mountains out of molehills.
I mean, this was like over 10 years ago, but when Naruto first came to America, got translated and stuff, a
Yeah,
kid mimicked a scene involving Gara with his sandbox, and he ended up smothering to death, and his parents blamed the anime. And I'm like, where the fuck were you to tell him not to fucking copy this?
exactly. This is why we need to actually have a sit down and talk about this kind of stuff.
Oh, you know
Excuse me.
why I never climbed up on my roof and jumped off trying to be Superman or something? Because my parents told me, you're not fucking Superman. Don't jump off the roof. You're liable to break your fucking neck.
Here's the thing: people really need to learn to differentiate fiction from reality. Simple as that.
Yes, but when it's children, the parents need to be there to tell them this is fiction, not reality. Don't fucking do this. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, I volunteered with Head Start, which is basically a thing you could, at least where I live, where you can have your kids go and learn what they'll need to do when they start kindergarten the next year. And the teachers would be like, no Ninja Turtles, no Power Rangers. Basically, like, nothing that your parents wouldn't bother to tell you not to do because you're liable to knock people's teeth out or bust their eyes. And I'm like, the teacher should not have to be the parents. Why are the parents not doing anything?
Exactly. But here's the thing: they don't actually teach this kind of stuff to kids because of the liberal progressivism, like freaking SJW rhetoric and stuff like that, and it goes against the corporate censorship crap. Basically, liberals are actually just running everything here. It's actually just completely ridiculous.
I remember watching Deke's or Dick version of Sailor Moon and my mother telling me, now, if any kids are mean to you, don't start attacking them like Sailor Moon because they're not monsters in disguise. Because I was 8 years old at the time when Sailor Moon was first brought to America. My mother was basically being like, don't do that. Because she knew kids aren't exactly to a level yet where they should realize, oh, this is fiction.
Exactly, but you see, people don't understand to sit down, talk to their kids about this kind of stuff, or see what actually impress what actually is like what's right and wrong.
This is what pissed me off about having to wait until like midnight for Toonami and to watch anime and stuff on Cartoon Network before I cut the cable. Because it's like, why should I have to be punished because some parent didn't tell little Billy to go to bed at fucking 9 o'clock?
Exactly, but here's the thing. Nobody actually talks about this kind of stuff. They just actually want to throw a blanket over it and pretend it's a boogeyman. Because they always like to actually make boogeyman issues like, the equivalent of Gamergate. Don't even get me started on
Gamergate is fucking stupidity because I always hear, oh, it's hard to be a girl gamer. I'm like, where the fuck are you going that you're having trouble to be a gamer? I've never had this problem. Hell, whenever I used to go to cons before the pandemic and stuff, I would do Pokemon battles with a bunch of guys, and I was always the one doing the physical attacks while the other guys was using the special moves to, get their attacks good enough. Basically, I was the one trying to protect them until they were ready to attack themselves.
So true, but that's the thing. People keep using freaking Gamergate as a boogeyman per se. They just actually want to use it as a scapegoat.
Orchids.
Like, look at Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn, Brianna Wu, and all these other and don't even get me started on Kathy Griffin because basically that woman is not funny, and holding an effigy a blade decapitating effigy of
Yeah, Wanda Sykes is funny. Kathy Griffin is she's not on my people to punch list, but she's basically my people to chew out and say, you might as well be like Amy Schumer and say my vagina.
Oh God, that's a good one, but freaking weird ass times dealing with right now.
And that breaks my heart. There's like 2 female comedians, Wanda Sykes and a woman named Sarah. She's from the UK. And that's it. All the other comedians I like are male, and that's just fucking sad because it's like, wow, you're basically proving that stereotype women aren't funny, Amy Schumer.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They even tried to actually cancel one of my favorite Latino comedians, Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh, yeah, they stay away from Fluffy. Fluffy gets canceled, I'm going to everyone's house and taking a dump on their doorstep.
Oh, yeah, I definitely love Fluffy because Fluffy is like one of my favorite. My older sister got me into Fluffy. Oh,
I love Fluffy.
And he's even going to be. Okay, go ahead.
I've actually imagined myself if I were to become a comedian. I've actually imagined myself where I have a bunch of cakes if I have a birthday party, and and I have my sister somewhere at the party, and I imagine Fluffy eating the cheesecake being the only cake off limits, and my sister being like, "Oh no, you didn't eat her cheesecake, did you?" And Fluffy's like, yeah, why? Oh no, you know not what you unleashed, and it'd be, who ate my cheesecake?
Oh, God.
Basically, the other cakes, strawberry shortcakes, chocolate cakes, ice cream cakes, you could take the whole thing if you want, but you don't touch my cheesecake.
Duly noted. But anyway, here's the thing. It turns out that Fluffy is actually going to be playing freaking Speedy Gonzalez in the new Space Jam movie. Not that anybody cares.
Oh my god, I love that. Oh, are these the same people who claim that Speedy's a horrible stereotype but don't realize everyone in Mexico or of Mexican descent are like, Speedy's our man?
Exactly, but they just actually say it's cultural appropriation. Oh God.
Yeah,
This is
when
why
Mexico is like, hey, we love Speedy. this is our guy. Especially when Speedy's the hero, so it's a positive thing. They could have easily made Speedy the villain, but they didn't. He's the hero. You always root for Speedy being able to outrun Sylvester or Daffy or whoever is, trying to cause trouble for all the mouse people.
Exactly, but here's the thing. Nobody cares about that kind of crap because they don't fight for those types of issues. They just want to be offended on their so-called behalf.
I hate the people who want to cancel Pepe. Oh, and then that scene that was going to be included in the movie where LeBron, I think it is saying, hey, you can't be doing that to the women. And I'm like, well, are you going to tell Penelope Pussycat that? Because in some of those shorts with Pepe, she got just as handsy and chased Pepe. And Pepe's like, get away from me. Get away from me. Oh, but Pepe's male. I'm guessing that's why they ain't going to say shit about her.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. They just actually want to freaking make straw man issues. Just like with anime, saying anime is misogynistic, fan service is actually, catering towards the so-called toxic male gaze, and oh, God.
I would
This
love
is why
I would love to go up to Ron Toy, make sure to have my phone hidden, but the camera not obscured, and try and bait him into hitting me, just so I can go to the cops and say, he hit me. He hit me. I didn't do anything to him. Basically have this backfire on him and be like, yeah, I did it. I'm proving a point. Women can be liars. But y'all don't want to believe that your precious Marchie and Monica could be lying.
Okay, Morrigan actually brings up another good point. She said, well, I'm going to regret saying this, but after all that Funimation stuff, I hope more kids can be reborn and redeem themselves. I know not everyone is going to agree with me, but still.
You know what? If 4Kids basically did a tier thing where they mostly did stuff aimed at kids, like Magical Do-Re-Mi, which obviously was meant for kids in Japan, and then a thing for teenagers and then adults, I could forgive them, and I would definitely rather them over Funimation at this point. But I don't think they would do that if they were reborn. They'd still try to censor everything, trying to make it kid friendly. And it's like, not everything is meant for kids. That's like Japan being like, oh well, King of the Hill, which surprisingly a lot of Japanese people love King of the Hill. That blew my mind when I found it out. But that'd be like taking King of the Hill and trying to make it to where it appeals to kids. Because you can't. It's like an adult slice of life anime where the worst thing that
Exactly, but
happens
here's the
is
thing.
a murder.
This is why I freaking hate cancel culture and shit like that. It's actually just nothing but a big mess. And people are always actually going to say, these people are like a plague of locusts. They actually just keep destroying instead of rebuilding. And if somebody actually just goes and rebuild something, they'll actually, come back in 180 and then destroy it again, and we have to start all over.
Well, that's like the She-Ra reboot. I'm not gonna lie, I found a couple things quaint in the show, but I'm gonna be honest, I watched some of the reruns of She-Ra as a kid, and I kind of prefer that more. But I'm not gonna judge anyone who likes the reboot, but the people who like the reboot basically yell at anyone who's a fan of the original She-Ra, saying it's only fat man babies. And I'm like, so you're calling me and Geeky Sparkles man babies? Wow, I love how we female fans seem to become a mythological unicorn when it comes to the argument of why a mediocre reboot of an 80s show show is better to them. It's not, because Mattel did the toys for the reboot. They didn't sell. My Walmart still has them in a bin for a penny. And that tells you something, that people don't even want to buy the dolls for a penny. I guarantee dumpster divers be like, oh, She-Ra reboot, throw that back in. And whereas they started doing dolls for the original anime series for collectors, and those things are selling out fast. So I'm sorry for She-Ra reboot fans, but your show fucking sucked. And I'm sorry that I don't like Catradora because it reminds me of Harley and Joker. I don't like toxic relationships. I grew up watching one because I loved my mother and I loved my father, but they were horrible matches for each other because my mother got angry very easily.
Sorry. Whoops. Hold on. I just.
I'm sorry for the rant, but I don't like toxic relationships.
I don't blame you one bit. I don't blame you one bit whatsoever. I mean, basically, I do not blame you one bit. This is actually our little space to actually, vent out our frustrations. That's why I like doing these live streams. Just to actually let everybody have a chance to blow off some steam. In fact, this is very helpful for us.
I mean, whether it's the Elsewhere thing where Harley and Ivy are a couple, or where it's the main thing where Ivy is Harley's friend and she's like, you really need to leave him. He's gonna kill you one day. I mean, he almost did kill her once in the animated series. And she took him back when he sent her a rose, and I'm like, Harley, you're covered head to toe in casts and stuff. You're lucky to be alive. Don't go back to him.
Exactly. But, that's the thing about these toxic relationships. They just actually seem to, they don't understand how the Stockholm Syndrome works. Basically, once you actually fall for the charm of someone, they actually have to just, be a part of their lives. Sort of like, Bonnie and Clyde, for instance. That's another perfect example.
This is actually why I'm tempted to write an isekai fic, just a one-shot, where someone, doesn't necessarily have to be me, just someone from our world, goes to the She-Ra reboot universe and starts yelling at Catra saying, you had a chance to prove you loved Adora by going with her when she said, come with me, but you chose to stay. You're a terrible person, and Adora could do better than you.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Nobody cares about that kind of stuff because, A, they actually just want to freaking hit as many check boxes as possible. B, they just want to pander to SJWs in the outrage mob, which actually never happens because, like the old saying goes, give these people an inch, they'll take a mile.
I mean...
And C, this one's very most important. Basically, if they go against these people that they're pandering to, they're going to get freaking canceled.
Cancel doesn't even mean anything anymore because they always say, oh, we're going to cancel J.K. Rowling, as they still buy the merchandise that gives her money.
Also, Morgana actually brings up another good point. Indie is greater than AAA. I totally agree. Because, I'm actually going for indie comics nowadays. I mean, I'm actually really happy to actually support, like Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini for making Common America. And I actually support that. I support Common America over like Captain Marvel because I think Common America is actually much more a better interpretation of Captain Marvel.
Not including manga. I've pretty much gotten into where I just read web comics because they tend to not have, oh, let's say Orange Man bad in it. I mean, if it's supposed to be set in our universe, you might get a mention of Trump now and then, but it's not the main focus. Meanwhile, we're getting it in everything here, and it's like, oh my god, I think we should start Battle Royale, and instead of having a random class of students, we put anyone who shows any signs of being woke and have whoever survives be allowed back into society. Because then maybe they'll learn to keep their big mouths shut and stop trying to ruin crap.
Exactly, but that's the thing. They don't learn. These people do not learn whatsoever. Once it actually comes to a point that,
oh, this is what you do then. You have them keep the exploding collars on their necks for a year, and if they're stupid enough to say, blah, 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 woke shit here, blah, 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 their collar explodes, killing them. And thus, we save humanity from adding stupidity to the gene pool.
yeah, good luck with that. Besides, if I can actually say one thing, Morgana also asks, what if the Shovel Knight got an anime? I mean, that would be pretty interesting to see.
Well, it depends. Is it gonna be in the Shovel Knight style, or is it gonna be more like what we would see in anime?
That's a good question. I mean, I actually don't know. that would definitely be an interesting concept. But oh god, all this crap about like what's going on in the world today, people going woke, people still blaming Trump for everything. Like the media is actually just losing it, and they're losing.
Okay,
they're
I'm
losing
sorry. If anything involving the government bad happens, you can't blame Trump for that because he's not in fucking office anymore. You have to blame the new guy now.
And he's actually so much freaking worse. And I don't think, Kamala Harris is actually going to be any better once she takes office.
Oh, that would be a stain on for the first woman president. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not really a fan of Oprah anymore, but I'd sooner vote for Oprah as president than Kamala.
True, but that's the thing. She actually would actually have people like AOC up her butt trying to get her to actually do certain things, like with the whole Green New Deal and all that crap. In fact, the Green New Deal is actually.
Or let's get Wanda Sykes to run for president. She'd be the first woman president and the first president who is part of the LGBTQ community. Two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
If we're doing the whole checkmark thing, she's basically the perfect candidate at that point.
True. And I just can't stand, all this crap that's actually going on in the world, people trying to actually, pander to certain issues.
And the skeleton they drug out of Biden's closet, aka he was a racist asshole, but clearly he's for the black community.
Exactly, but also Morgana asks, what are your guys' thoughts on Western indie games? I mean, actually,
the closest I've really had to indie games are what I've seen people do let's plays of like the Crooked Man, Wendigo, Ioni. That thing scared the shit out of me. Especially when you're having to rush to the prison cell and all of a sudden, bang, bang, and it's like, A couple games I like that I don't know if they would fall into indie is The Path, which is a take on Little Red Riding Hood. The tag is a game about growing up, and you basically play several sisters who are named after shades of red and have red incorporated into their outfits, for the Little
Huh.
Red Riding Hood theme. And with the exception of the youngest, who actually deals with an actual wolf for once, her thing I'm still trying to figure out. Everything else is having the wolf be disguised as something that could happen in life. Like one of the girls, she's like an older teenager, and she basically seduces a woodsman, the guy who chops the wood, and it's implied she's raped and killed.
Oh God.
That's why it's
That's
called a game about growing up, because you're basically dealing with some adult shit here, or at least what's implied as adult shit. And then another game I like that's more of a walking simulator, but What Remains of Edith Finch is very deep and trippy. And what I like about it, there's no fucking politics.
Yeah, that's just the thing. Everything actually has to center around politics nowadays, and that really freaking irritates the crap out of me.
I'm still
People always
giggle.
actually
I'm still giggling that they still have The Last of Us 2 on the shelves at my Walmart, but other games that came out that year are still selling, because I always see them bringing like a crate of the games that are selling out, and people are rushing up saying, "Can I get that before you put it in the thing?" And they're like, "Okay." But Last of Us 2 is still sitting there. I'm just waiting for it to be.
that's how
I'm just waiting for it to drop to a penny, so I can be like, "Why are y'all still trying to hawk this game? It's not gonna sell. You might as well just throw it out and put a new game there."
my sentiments exactly. But here's the thing: why don't they just give it the ET treatment? Just throw it into a freaking dump somewhere, and actually just cover it with like in a desert, like what they did with the
And then
ET,
and then like
because
20 or 30 years
Mercury.
later they come back and find all the games. Cuz yeah, uh, a guy
Yeah,
who was a kid when the game came out said he remembered it, so he started, and he heard about the rumor of it being buried somewhere in the desert. So they went digging and they actually found all the cartridges that were buried there, and one is in the Smithsonian, still covered in
wow.
desert dirt.
And also, Morgana brings up another good point. It's just games like Shovel Knight and Undertale proves that the West could be just as creative as Japanese games, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you gotta also remember, these are either one person or a small group that is not doing like EA or something and being like, "Oh, the Woker got their panties in a twist. We got to listen to them, even though they don't buy our shit." This is why I like
Yeah,
Mindy and the
that's
Ink
what's
Machine, because the Meatly, I think it is like, "Yeah, we're not gonna listen to you. We're gonna make our games the way we want." Scott Cawthorn. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. How many times can you do the whole try to avoid the evil animatronic robot animal thing before it gets stale? But hey, at least he's not having a thing where it's like, fight the patriarchy.
exactly. And the patriarchy is just, a dead freaking. It's just a dead horse that's being constantly beaten by feminists and SJWs. Straight
You're
up.
lucky my dad wasn't here to hear that, because he'd say, "We're on the 10th dead horse."
Oh God. It just freaking infuriates me whenever someone actually just, just actually finds a certain point and just keeps repeating the same shit over and over and over and over and over again.
Basically, it's a case of let's keep doing the same thing and hope for a different outcome, even though we've done it like 20 times already and it's always the same fucking outcome and it's not a good outcome.
True. Like the definition of insanity. Doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
I mean, that's like me punching my bedroom wall. I'm gonna hurt myself if I punch my bedroom wall. I basically know if I do it again, I'm gonna hurt myself. If it's on accident, unfortunately, I can't help that because that was an accident. But if I'm doing it again on purpose, well, then I'm a dumbass.
Either that or, if you actually have, like, like, if your walls aren't, like, too hard, you can actually punch a hole through them.
I'd
I've
rather not.
actually done that.
I'd rather not because I hear things skittering in my walls and I don't want them coming out at night.
Yeah, basically, let me just simply say that I've actually punched a few holes in my wall in my lifetime. All because, and I've actually taken a hell of a lot of abuse from my stepdad for it.
I've gotten so bored recently because there's nothing good for Western entertainment that I've been watching things like How to Survive High School of the Dead, How to Survive on Train to Busan. Basically, things based off of foreign films, mostly Japanese or other Asian countries. And I'm like, God, I wish Hollywood would be this creative.
Exactly, but instead, they just actually want to pander to fucking the woke weirdos on the left and liberals, then listen to the fans. You can't
Hell,
please everyone.
I watched a thing of How to Survive Battle Royale, and then I watched a thing of How to Survive Battle Royale 2, and I'm like, man, even their sequels aren't bad. I mean, we rarely ever have a sequel to a movie here that's as good as the original. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Terminator 2.
I know. It's just basically this is why, the stuff from the 90s is always the best. Because how I see it, people always actually tend to, be ignorant people and just, bitch about things online, all because they can. And also, Morgana also brings up another good point here. I'm so glad that smaller companies like WayForward never bend the knee.
Oh, just
But,
wait.
that.
Just wait. If they're offered enough money, they will start kissing ass, I'm sure. Because that's what usually
Yeah,
happens. Small companies get bought out and they start kissing whoever bought them out's ass. I mean, how many game journalists or whatever started kissing EA's ass when EA's like, hey, if you say our newest football game's good, we'll give you this bunch of money. And instead of having their integrity, they're like, yeah, sure, this is the best game I've ever played in my life.
yeah, because basically they actually would rather kiss ass to people trying to make money, just like the equivalent of, like, what they're doing in China. Because basically China's doing the same thing. They want to censor people and just, keep their mouths mum and
I
just pretend like
don't
nothing's ever happening.
I don't like China very much. The only Chinese
Same
person
here.
I like from China is Mulan, and she's not even a real person. And I hate China because They're the reason we had to deal with Mary Sue Palpatine instead of an interesting character like Finn. I wanted to know about Finn. I always wanted to know about Finn. The only thing I wanted to know about Mary Sue Palpatine is, I guess, why her parents left her on Jakku, and that's about it. Finn, he was a stormtrooper. Who broke the conditioning? How did he break the conditioning? Before they decided to retcon it, he was able to use a lightsaber, something only Jedi and Sith could use. I wanted to know about him. And then at the last minute, they decided, oh, well, he's force sensitive, for the people who are like, why couldn't he have been the Jedi warrior we were following? And it's like, no, you don't get to do that. And in a Lego movie. And then still make him the butt of the joke. You might as well have had him been like, oh, I don't know nothing about them Jedi. You might as well have had him doing that, because that's pretty much what you made him.
Oh man, this is kind of like, yeah, feels like I'm actually just talking to Geeky Sparkles right now, and she actually has, some of the best rants ever.
And normally I wouldn't complain about this, because it's like, oh my god, you're complaining about a fictional character, but in this case, I'm complaining because it's like, Finn was the more interesting character. I didn't care about Rey. I'd have been okay with her being in the Han role. Because let's be honest, they were supposed to be the new versions of Han, Leia, and Luke. I mean, what was wrong with her being in the Han character? Han is a cool character. You could have easily had her been a badass like that. I mean, hell, you could have had her shoot the guy who wanted to buy BB-8 as a reference to Han shooting first.
Yeah, that's just the thing. Basically, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't care about the fans. She just only cares
Kathleen
about
Kennedy. She's someone I am going to sit my fat ass on and shave her head. And if she screams assault, I'll say, oh no, it's not assault when a woman does it. Only when a man does it. Throw it back in her face. Throw it back in all their faces. And I'll say this. If you say I assaulted her, then you have to admit women do assault people. But you won't admit that, because then you have to accept people like Amber Heard are terrible people who assaulted her husband. Oh, correction, ex-husband. And if I had a time machine, I'd go back and tell Johnny, for the love of God, Johnny, don't marry her. She's a fucking nutcase. And I'd slap her for good measure if I had a time machine to go back.
Yeah, that's also another good point. And also, Morgana says, I wonder what would happen if someone used politics as a joke. I don't know if that would actually work. I mean, basically, I can understand politics, but, I actually really have to say I really don't like using politics in jokes or anything like that, because, A, I don't want to start something bad and, friggin' just have someone try to cancel me for some
Look,
opinion.
The only time politics should be a joke is when the politician does something joke-worthy. Like what South Park did when someone asked Al Gore what his favorite cereal was, and he goes, I'm super cereal.
Oh, God.
That's when you should make a joke, because it's like, oh, you missed what they were asking, Gore. And then we get this beautiful joke of Man Bear Pig.
Oh God, Man Bear Pig, that was actually just awesome.
I mean, does anyone remember the comics and stuff people were making when Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not really black? You had the people making things where there was one comic where a black girl says, "I'll never vote for you," and he says, "Then you're not really black." And he's dressed like Palpatine, and he turns her white by sucking out all of her blackness. And
Oh God.
I'm just like, so wait a minute. If I say I'm gonna vote for you, does that mean you're gonna turn me black then? Because you're saying if no one votes for you, they're not really black. So does that mean the white people who vote for you will be turned black? Well, what do you mean, Biden? What do you mean?
That's just the thing. He's actually so freaking with dementia that it is not even funny.
Oh, let's not forget the poor kids are just as smart as the white kids. So you're telling me white people can't be poor? Well, gee, my family missed the memo considering I'm living in a busted down trailer.
Yeah, that's just the thing. They don't understand this kind of crap. They don't understand, like the poor or the middle class. They only care about, top 1%, the big corporations and all that stuff. Just so they can actually, get that sweet, sweet money.
Also, I hate Jada Pinkett Smith now after what she did to Will. Will's a cool guy. Why would you do that to Will?
That's a good question. I wish I had an answer for you.
Will didn't deserve that. Will's been nothing but a gentleman. A woman would kill to have a man like Will, and she cheated on him. Hell, a gay man would kill to have a man like Will.
Yeah.
Because you can tell Will loves his kids and stuff, and that is very appealing to women who are straight or bisexual in my case. Someone who loves their kids is very appealing.
Oh, hey, Matt, what's up? I've actually left the link to the live stream, so it's actually at the top. So if you're actually interested, just jump on in. I'm more than happy to have you on there, my dude. Just click on the link and come join in. I'll be more than happy to have you on. All right, hang on just a second. And we got Matt.
I think he was. I think he was like.
And by the way, as far as Will Smith is concerned, not exactly a huge fan, but
you don't have to be,
especially if it's kids. I mean, has anyone seen what his son?
Look, you don't have to.
Says on Twitter. I mean, good God.
Look, you don't have to be a fan of Will Smith, but you gotta admit he's a good father. I mean, he helped his son.
Oh yeah, he is a good father. I will say that.
I think he was a teenager during the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when I was a little child.
Yeah, same here.
If it weren't for the age difference, I'd try to hit him up.
Yeah, and also, Morgana asks, anyway, if anyone have kids, what would be the best age to show him or her anime?
I would say about 12.
Right around the teens. Yeah, because that's 13. How I got into anime, by way of Akira.
I mean, technically with my nephew, he got one of my One Piece mangas and had started reading it before he was close to being around his teens. So he kind of got into it early, but he started watching anime and stuff around 12 or 13. But he was obsessed with One Piece. My only surprise was when because when I used to go to conventions, I'd always buy something for my nieces and nephew as a souvenir. I asked him, what would you like? And he said, I'd like something like your reindeer toy, which was a little Chopper plush I had. I'm like, you want Chopper? And he's like, yeah, I want Chopper. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to question it. It shows you're interested in anime. But my nephew is basically the typical boy. You would think he would want something based off Sanji or Zoro. No, he wants the little reindeer doctor. I'm wondering if that's a hint. Maybe he wants to be a doctor or something.
Well, basically, I gotta say, yeah, I would actually start out that way too. But basically, if you can actually start off earlier,
I mean, yeah, there are anime for kids like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z,
Magical
Yu-Gi-Oh, that
Do-Re-Mi.
sort of thing. But if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of what makes anime so great, I'd say the teens would be a very great place to go because that's how I got into anime a hand over fist.
Can we just admit the animes aimed at kids are pretty good too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I mean, basically, I got into anime when I was only 7 years old, so that's how I got into anime.
I was 8 years old, and it was because Sailor Moon was brought in, and for me, it was like, wow, a female superhero. Because basically, before I got into Marvel, the only female superhero I ever saw was like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, hey there.
First anime I saw, I think, would be one of the first anime I saw. Actually, would be Ronin Warriors.
And then when Toonami became a thing, I started watching Tenchi Muyo, which if they hadn't censored it, my mom would have been like, okay, we're not watching this cartoon anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the thing. They just want to actually cut out certain parts because, and also...
yeah, but at least my mother would have been doing her job and saying we're not watching this anymore. I'd have been disappointed.
Exactly, man. I mean...
At least you wouldn't be calling up Cartoon Network or whatever you would have to call back in the day and saying, how dare you show naked girls to my 8-year-old? No, my mother would have been like, we're not watching this anymore. If this show comes on, you're not allowed to watch it. And if I catch you watching it, I'm turning the TV off. Not, I'm going to complain to the people showing it because it's like, because she was like, it's none of her business what parents let their kids do. She has to worry about her children in her care.
Exactly.
And Morgana says, I don't like anime for kids, though, frowny face, but...
I don't know. I watched Magical Do-Re-Mi in original Japanese because I caught it by chance when they still had the 4Kids thing on Fox, and I thought it was adorable. I kind of don't like they decided to basically say Do-Re-Mi was the combination of all 3 characters' names because, yes, how dare the main character whose name is Do-Re-Mi in the original Japanese be the one whose name is on the shop? No, we got to make sure all the girls are included. And it's like, well, then how do you fit the other girls that show up later that become the main character's friend? Huh?
Typical BS, man.
I mean,
this. Okay, go ahead.
The main character whose name was changed in American was Do-Re-Mi, but in America her name was Dory. She ended up becoming friends with a rich girl named Rayanne. That was the American name they chose for Rayanne. And Mirabelle, the country girl, because for some reason 4Kids has this obsession of at least one person has to have a southern accent.
Oh, God.
I mean, they made Robin from One Piece a Southern Belle because she wore a cowboy hat like once.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, basically, if you sported a cowboy hat, you instantly became from Texas. Which is weird because I think I remember a thing from Oda saying where the various characters would have been from in the real world. Like Sanji would have been from France, you know, because he's a chef. Nami would have been from Japan along with Zoro. And Robin was supposed to be from the Philippines, I think, and Luffy would have been from Brazil. And if that's not including for appropriation, I don't know what is. And it's from Oda himself.
Well, that's a plus, because basically how I see it, the more context you actually have for something, the more it actually shows that we actually need to actually have, you know, certain diverse characters from like certain backgrounds.
And this is what annoys me about BT using the few black anime characters there are as his avatar, because for me, he irks me so, and whenever he changes his character, it's still going to be a while before I can look at the character he previously had without being upset at that character because it reminds me of him.
Oh, you're talking about Underdog BT? I mean, basically, it pissed me off that he actually used Dutch from Black Lagoon. I really love Dutch as a character from Black Lagoon. And then he actually goes and actually uses Lockstep from My Hero Academia. And, you know, basically, he's just, you know, doing that just despite, you know, us, you know, the hardcore anime fans.
Give me a second to look it up and see which Cyborg it is, because it's been like 10 years since I watched Cyborg 009. But in fact, I'll send you a thing of what he looked like in the manga when it was first created to look at on Twitter. It'll be sent privately just so we can avoid idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially that can't kill Dave guy.
Here we go. And I'm glad when they did the thing for like the 90s, they were like, yeah, maybe we should, you know, make it a little less racist.
A little less racist, my ass. I mean, basically, it's like we've been practically saying time and again. Anime is made for Japanese people and then freaking exported to the fans of said anime. There's no racism because it was distinctly made in Japan.
I know.
Oh, that just reminds me, dude. I just had a chance encounter with a little known video from from some no name anime YouTuber called.
I'll also
and that video was called "Anime Has a Pedophilia Problem," and I'm like, "What pedophilia problem, motherfucker?"
Is this the same dumbass who was talking about black people and had Piccolo as a thing? Like,
could be.
Why the fuck is Piccolo there? He ain't black. He's an alien.
Okay, exactly.
I
or
sent you two things on Twitter, Mr. Anime. If you got a smartphone nearby, use that instead.
Well, this is how I'm actually shooting my live stream here, is through my phone, and I actually saw one of them, but yeah, I actually hold on, I'm actually looking at the other one here, and
yeah, that's crap. The one from the one I watched when a few years back, one of the newer ones, not the movie that they made a couple years ago, the show.
Oh. Oh, wait, hang on.
I was about to say, How many times are they gonna say that? We've seen you don't like anime for kids.
They don't understand that basically we're just trying to enjoy, what we want to enjoy without all this woke garbage that's going on in the world today.
By the
It's
way, I
just-
provided a link to the mental diarrhea question. Hope y'all have fun watching, cringing as much as I have, because good lord, ugh. The comments section is just, ow, my brain hurts.
But but I just sent you the one of the newer series and what appeared in the manga, just because
yeah,
you can see why they had to tone them down a little, especially if it was going to be overseas here, because let's not, they're already having to deal with idiots who can't seem to understand Japanese culture. Let's not give the idiots something else to throw a hissy fit over.
yeah, true. But
Of course, they don't seem to realize that most times the Japanese were copying what they saw in cartoons that they managed to get from America. I mean, a lot of their stuff started out looking like old Mickey Mouse cartoons before we got what we know as anime.
exactly, and basically, anime as we know it was actually originally based off of freaking, the Western cartoons that came back in the day.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it was basically Japan and being fanboys of American animation just as much as we were.
So any racist stereotypes that might be in products from a while back, like Cyborg 0091's one black character, you can thank America for that.
Yeah, good old US of A, man.
Yeah, and
You cannot blame the Japanese for how Cyborg 008 looked. That's on America, because that's all the creator had as a reference to black people. So that's
also
on
just
you, America.
yeah, and basically here's my thing. It's like this one woman that actually made this hot take on her birthday, saying that basically anime is actually just nothing more than Imperial Japanese apologia, and then she was actually gonna freaking get drunk and watch She-Ra. Oh god, that freaking just pissed me off.
Yeah,
And Hero
Are we talking new She-Ra or old school She-Ra?
reboot She-Ra.
New She-Ra.
Blech.
Yeah, looking back now, I wish I had told her, fine, if you get off to toxic relationships, okay, just don't come near me because I'll punch you in the face for liking that.
Yeah, because basically, also, Morgana actually brings up a good point. They said, I'm looking forward to the day the woke stuff gets outdated. Same here.
Dude, I'm looking forward to the woke skulls getting given a free helicopter ride near Mount Fuji.
I hate woke culture just because we end up getting stuff like the Gillette commercial trying to be part of woke culture, and it just comes off stupid.
Dude, anyone remember those awesome Gillette commercials? And with that AOR stuff and men being men? Yeah, that was
exactly.
the shit.
I mean, I'll admit I kind of like the Gillette commercial where you have the trans boy and his father teaching him how to shave. That was adorable in my opinion. But the first one was like, am I supposed to be like, yippee? Because in all fairness, this kind of makes me cringe, and I'm a woman. So apparently I'm supposed to like that men are realizing, oh, don't be a sexist pig. And it's like, we've kind of had this for a while, and there's hardly any sexist pigs that I know of around anymore.
That's pretty much the plan of our woke overlords. Emasculate all men.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying men should be those assholes who's like, oh, woman mechanic.
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean,
car. But I also don't want a guy who's like, oh God, my woman is getting mugged. I'm gonna call the police. Police. It's like, unless the guy has a gun, you should be able to punch him in the face when he's demanding your woman's purse.
I'm pretty sure even if the dude has a gun, I'd do what Kiryu does on the daily.
My point is,
Yeah,
my point is, I don't want an asshole, but I also want a guy who can fight, because I don't want to have to be worrying about my ass and his ass.
Bingo!
Don't get me wrong, I'll try to fight myself if I'm getting mugged, but I don't want to have to be like, okay, I gotta make sure stupid here doesn't get stabbed in the dick or something.
Yeah, basically, I gotta take up some self-defense classes again, so that way, not only so I can lose weight, but also, if anybody decides to actually, pick a fight with me, then basically, I can kick their ass.
This is why I don't like nice guys, because
Nice guys are pussified dipshits.
I don't like nice guys because they'll send like what appears to be a nice greeting or something, and then if you don't answer them like 5 seconds later, they start calling you a bitch whore, and it's like, dude, did it ever cross your mind maybe I was busy at the moment and I couldn't answer my phone?
Okay, even worse, sociopaths.
Like,
Exactly.
I can understand if, I mean, maybe not use bitch whore, but I can understand making your grievances known if it was like a week or something and no one answered you, But 5 seconds. You have to realize some people have lives.
True. Basically, that's the thing. I actually don't like, people calling me an incel, a neckbeard, lolicon, or anything, pedophile, or anything like that, because basically, they're just trigger words that are just watered down and overused to actually, bash anime fans.
Yeah, they don't seem to realize the more they use a word, the less impact it has. Like, when I was younger, being commented on about my weight would have hurt my feelings and stuff. But now I've just become indifferent to it because it's like, yeah, I'm fat. What do you want me to do? I'm doing what I can to try and lose weight. Telling me I'm fat is not going to change that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna spike these SJWs, so I'm just gonna the rest of the stream.
No,
I'm just
you're
gonna.
bringing out the shirt. You're bringing
Yep.
out. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard from Have you heard from Sad Fat Betty recently?
Not as of late. I mean, basically, he did make another video, but apparently he's actually gotten nominated by freaking Red Says Desu for his artwork, but that's beyond that. And I'm still owed an apology.
He should be nominated for the biggest douche award.
That's so true. But I just want to tell Rev that, he's actually, a freaking bully and a freaking troll for what he did.
Basically, Morgiana, or however you say the name, says, what's your least favorite type of anime, girl?
Oh, that's easy. The tsundere.
The yandere.
Yeah, anyone that's actually like super bitchy and stuff like that, thinks, doesn't actually show any appreciation towards, the protagonist. I mean,
Exactly.
that's why I actually
Which is
dislike.
basically my main problem with Asuka and Evangelion. I mean, good God.
So you mean Akane from Ranma?
Yeah, in a way, but also freaking Toka from Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, she could have been a little more softer to the main character. I mean, unlike her, who's lived her whole life as a ghoul, this poor kid was thrown into it. He has no idea on the facts that he's got to do what a ghoul does or he's gonna die.
Oh, I hate lollies too,
Exactly.
Morgiana. Yeah. Let's not beat around the bush. Ish.
Look,
I am no lolicon by any means, despite what your average anime hater would think otherwise.
look, considering there's babyface, there's actually a condition that makes you look forever like a child. As long as everyone's legal, I'm not gonna say anything about one's relationship.
Bingo!
But the fact that people were saying Uzaki-chan was a child, I'm like, she's short and she's stacked. Are you really saying short stacked women don't exist?
Of
And
course,
she's
they would
actually
say
of legal.
short stacked women don't exist. They're grifters, is what they are. And yet
It's true.
they're also pedophile apologists. It's in real life.
And
Yeah, because they'd rather actually.
And the reason Rising of the Shield Hero got hate is because how dare someone say women can be lying assholes too? How dare?
Oh yeah, how dare a lady be a complete bitch and should get her comeuppance.
Considering I was bullied by the cheerleaders and nothing was ever done to them because they were the cheerleaders, basically just replace cheerleaders with royal family, and that's pretty much what you got with Malty.
This is why.
Yeah, the reason why.
This is basically why the public school system sucks.
That's like saying midgets are kids.
Yeah, I actually hated school because back during my grade school days, I always kept getting said I had cooties, I had freaking Roman germs, and people would come up and touch me, and then basically they would touch someone else that they didn't actually cross their fingers. They would have actually freaking just said they actually got my germs and they were infected.
I mean,
and Morgana.
I had an asshole put my gym bag because this is where I would carry my PE clothes and deodorant and stuff in a trash can, and I couldn't find it to change back into my school uniform, so I ended up missing my final class for that day, and I got in trouble for that. And even though the PE teacher, we called him Coach Sanders, said, yeah, someone hid her gym bag in a trash can.
And Morgana also brings up a good point. That's like saying midgets are kids. I know that's actually pretty much considered a slur word for people who short.
Yeah, the term you need to use is little person. But if I've learned anything from other groups of people, is that little people probably don't care if you call them midgets or something. I'm saying probably because I don't know a little person personally.
Yeah, I actually had a friend, back in Job Corps that was actually short, and we always called him Wee Man.
After Wee Man Acuna from Jackass?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is so cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anyone remember Hornswoggle from WWE?
Here.
I remember Hornswoggle. And the whole drama of he was supposed to be like the illegitimate son of the owner of WWE.
Yeah, and yeah, that was pretty funny though.
Good grief.
I mean, basically,
well, it kind of
just
shows that WWE is accepting of everyone, because how many people would have thought of a little person as a wrestler, you know?
yeah, that's actually always the fun part.
I actually remember animation done from one of the podcasts for Co-Optional, and this was before TB passed away, unfortunately. May he rest in peace, because he was awesome. But
yeah,
he was talking about how we're all gonna become wrestlers, and Dodger is like, could I have a move called Release the Cats, and a bunch of children dressed as cats attack my opponent and hold them down while I hit them? And TV's like, I think we'd get in trouble if we had children. And he's holding a book in the animation of child labor laws. And
dude.
And Jesse says, but what if it's a bunch of little people like Hornswoggle? And then they start talking about how I love Hornswoggle.
Yeah, that's always the fun part. But you know, anyway, like we were talking about, it's just ridiculous how things are these days. From like you know this accusational crap that's been going on with like Vic Mignona and Johnny Depp and all that stuff, to like how we were actually so carefree and not being able to give two craps, about what was going on.
I'm just
if you guys ever actually
and now the woke schools circle around these guys because Christian man bad or something.
I'm just gonna say this about Tatum. He should have kept his mouth shut and stayed neutral, because he thinks he's safe. The minute he says something that Sabbath and the others don't like, they'll get some desperate newbie guy who wants to do a male lead for one of the animes to say that Tatum basically kept assaulting him and hitting on him and demanding him go out for drinks or something, just so they can say, well, sorry, Tatum, you know the rules. We can't have you here. You're fired.
Yeah, that's how cancel culture is. There's no end to these people. They just actually want to freaking cancel somebody because of something they don't like.
That's what I keep saying. Cancel culture is basically an unruly mob of lynch.
Basically,
lynch mob is what they are, man.
Basically, all Tatum has done is delayed being fired. He's gonna be fired eventually because he'll do something against what they believe, and doesn't matter if he's gay or not. They will basically come up with a story just so they can say, well, we had to fire him because we can't have this behavior.
So true. This is why I seriously hate freaking like cancel culture and all that stuff.
But cancel culture is just canceling the toxic assholes because some douchebag on Twitter told me so.
I mean, look what happened to Gina. She compares it to what happened during World War II, and then everyone's like, fire her. Meanwhile, like 2 years ago,
and she's right.
Did something worse.
And you want to know what the worst thing is? She's absolutely fucking right.
She basically became Anne Frank. That's what she basically became. Because they proved her fucking point.
And also, there's little comparison between what happened in World War II and what's going on with communist China these days, don't you think there's a little comparison to what's going on in China today with what happened back during World War II with the Germans? Just a little comparison, though. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, Bob Chapecki or whatever his name is, and I am not going to learn how to say his last name because he doesn't deserve me knowing how to say his last name. Basically said it's a matter of morals, and I'm like, oh, you mean like in the live-action Mulan where you thank the concentration camp for letting you film there? Those kinds of morals? I actually said on the thing, Bob, what morals do you have? If Walt Disney hadn't been cremated, he'd be crawling out of his grave to come and kick your ass for making a mockery of his company.
Pretty sure Walt Disney would appear Dark Souls 3 style and start murdering everybody.
Everybody who agrees with the woke.
Exactly. Basically the unkindled ash.
Oh, we got a new message.
Oh, what's the message?
I don't know about you, but I think SJWs love living in the past. Oh, if you mean
but they're all about the superior future.
Oh,
which is basically just like the past.
Oh, if you mean by living in the past, we basically look at something that's a product of its time and decide to bitch about it, then yeah, they love living in the past because they can find everything they can. They're trying to cancel Miss Piggy now, and I think it's because of the fact that if they don't cancel...
don't even get me started on them canceling Pepe Le Pew. I mean, I'm not exactly the biggest Pepe Le Pew fan. Don't get me wrong. But I'd much rather Pepe Le Pew than whatever woke garbage they churn out these days.
Penelope Pussycat, which was the cat that would always somehow get the paint stripe, was just as handsy in some of those shorts as Pepe. But they neglect to bring that up because Penelope's female. She would never do that. And it's like, I remember several shorts where, because Pepe got covered in perfume or something, he became irresistible to her. So she's like, come here, big boy. And he's like, yeah. But they're trying to cancel Miss Piggy, and I think it's because if they don't, someone will use Miss Piggy like they use Ripley or old school Sarah Connor to point out, what are you talking about? There are a lot of strong female characters that
they'll cancel both Ripley and Sarah Connor. You can quote me on that one because apparently strong female role models is toxic masculinity to these assholes.
So basically, women shouldn't have tried to become strong in the first place and should go back to the kitchen, pretty much. Get back in the kitchen!
That's actually regression.
Exactly. That's what they want is regression, and you can quote me on that one. Matter of fact, I'll pretty much be doing the whole razor fist, fuck you, I was right thing.
Because
to any or all SJWs out there, fuck you to the moon. Straight up.
I mean, from what I have seen thanks to Twitter, the SJWs are the biggest racists than the self-proclaimed racists. They're the biggest sexist than the self-proclaimed sexist. And I'm sure a couple of things.
At least when someone proclaims himself a racist or sexist, he admits he's a fucking asshole, and I respect that because I'm an asshole too.
I mean, it's like this scene from an episode of Law and Order SVU where they caught a killer and he says, "Yeah, I killed that girl, but at least I can admit I killed her because I wanted to kill her." This girl is only saying it was me who did it because she didn't want me to find out that she came from a rich family. Because
And yet the
it turned out that the murder victim knew the girl who was living on the street with the guy that would, kill her. The murder victim, I mean. Because she didn't want the murder victim going back and saying, "Hey, I saw so and so on the streets," thus allowing her parents to find her. So the minute she got arrested for murder, she lawyered up and asked her parents to come back to her and get her. Because it's like, oh, wait, I was willing to live on the streets, but I can't live in jail.
Hey, all I can say is if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. That's
bingo.
But, that old proverb doesn't actually hold up to these people. They don't understand that, their choices have consequences.
Oh, does anyone remember that video when everyone at the time was like, defund the police, and someone from Antifa got shot and someone screamed, "Someone call the police!" And it's like, but I thought you wanted to get
I'm sorry, that shit's too funny. Still too funny to this
So
day.
basically, you want to defund the police until someone shoots your friend, but it's like, oh, the police is a good thing. You can't have it both ways, sugar tits.
Yeah. Nobody can have their cake and eat it too.
Basically, that's what these companies are trying to do. They're trying to please everyone. You can only please, a certain amount of people while actually pissing off the other side. Basically,
they're actually pleasing the lowest common denominator is what they are.
Exactly.
If we really want to fix the police, I say we take a page from other countries where you need at least 2 years, if not more, of training before you're allowed to be a cop. Not what we have here where, oh, you have a high school degree, okay, you only have to do like 18 months and you're a cop.
Agreed. Basically, we just actually need to actually have somebody who's actually willing to actually, show appreciation for the law and willing to actually
as much
stand
as
up.
I love Dominion Tank Police, even I gotta say that is no future I want to be in. Oh no.
And
Nope.
And the whole Black Lives Matter thing, I was with them at first because it's like, you have a guy saying, I can't breathe, and you're keeping your knee on his neck. But the minute they were destroying mom and pop businesses, especially black owned mom and pop businesses, I'm like, okay, you've lost me as a supporter, because what the hell did these guys do to deserve their businesses destroyed?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's basically like Dominion Tank Police. Except without the cool ass fucking tanks, man.
I mean, I'd still think maybe it was a little too much if they, destroyed a mall or something. But I'm sure malls, especially the stores in them, have insurance in case of things like this. A mom and pop restaurant, you're a fucking asshole in my opinion if you do that.
Bingo.
They're only just trying to actually, make ends meet and put food on the table for their families. But, they don't actually see that.
They don't care because they're Uncle Tom's.
Oh yeah, I actually pointed, I think it was AJ Blackhammer who had brought it up, and I said, or your Uncle Tom if you're a person of color and don't see a problem with something. Because seriously, we all know they're only saying that because if a black person says, I don't see a problem with it, then that pokes a hole in their whole, oh, it's offensive thing, because it's like, well, how can our thing work if the black people aren't offended by it? So let's call him Uncle Tom after the freed slave from Song of the South.
Hold on just a second, dude. I'm just gonna. Okay, there we go.
But this is basically like the words like incel and stuff. The more you use it, the less
The more it
offended you are,
loses its
because
fucking
like,
meaning,
you're
just
an
like
idiot.
Nazi.
Because it's like, you're a fucking idiot.
I don't think that D&D Girl or Matt actually have channels. So you guys
Unfortunately, Morgiana, I don't have any content to give, so
I do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't posted in a long time.
But
yeah, I'm a little camera shy if you catch my drift. Oh boy.
The last video I put was a comic dub of an artist I follow on Tumblr. And oh my god, because the artist used to do a comic called Boneheads, where she would take fictional skeleton characters, you know, like Brooke and Lewis from Mystery Skulls and stuff, and have them hang out at Manny's bar from Grim Fandango. And I did a comic dub which was based off the skeleton dance from the Disney shorts. And I've told the artist, oh my god, I now know your plight, because I even pinned a message that people seem to ignore, but they're like, where's this new skeleton character that didn't exist when you did this comic dub? Why isn't this character here? And I'm like, I even put a message saying, look, this comic was made before any skeleton character that has appeared was created, so please don't ask me where they were. And people still ask me where so-and-so, and I'm like, god fucking damn it, I can't fix something that came out before a certain character existed. Stop asking me.
Exactly, because basically nobody knows, about certain things.
I mean, hell, if you look at the date when I posted the video, that should more or less tell you, oh, this must have been before this character was invented. Like, I did the dub before Yuka and Lele existed, so there's no way I'm going to add that female skeleton character because she didn't exist at the time.
Exactly, or maybe you could actually try adding Santa Papyrus from Undertale in there as well, since they're skeletons.
Well, that would be up to the artist, and she's kind of moved on from the Boneheads comics. Unless someone wants to pay her Patreon, then she'll continue it.
Definitely. But I'm not really afraid to show who I am. Ergo, I actually, prefer liking showing my face, because I
also have some comic dubs for VG Cats. I haven't really done VG Cat dubs in a while because the guy kind of got political. I mean, he made Sonic comics about Tails basically supporting Robotnik, who was a stand-in for Trump.
Well, if I had a chance, I would love to actually try doing a comic dub or something. Oh god, that would be just so much fun.
Well, like, I use my regular voice for Leon or Leo or whatever he's called in VG Cats, and then I do this cutesy little voice for Eris, the female cat.
Dude, that would actually be pretty freaking hilarious. I mean, basically, I actually happen to have an ability to actually mimic voices I can actually hear. But if I actually listen to a certain voice pattern per se, I can be able to actually mimic that said character.
If I could do close enough to Monica's Suyu voice, I would take a scene from My Hero Academia where Suyu says, I'm ashamed to be voiced by a lying bitch.
Oh!
Ooh!
I would also love someone to do All Might saying, I am a hero of justice, but I am voiced by a man who insults people who are on the spectrum and has a casting couch to force women to do things they don't want to.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Oh man, that would sound so much fun. We can actually rip into these people just so freaking bad. To just show how
Dude,
people.
that would be totally. I'd totally pay to watch that, dude.
Ooh, I can do recordings for you, but if anyone wants to do My Hero Academia abridged, if it hasn't been done already, I will do voices for characters you like. I can even do outrageous voices if you don't want them to sound close to the English voices.
Yeah. Besides, all I'm gonna say is, I really want to actually just, try doing something abridged though, like some type of anime abridged series.
I definitely want to see something for Sailor Moon, just for, as I've said before, when
Dude, I
Uranus
would
and
totally.
Neptune show up
Dude,
just to
I would
say,
totally blow my wad for a Votom's abridged series with Chirico as a badass Latino Rambo.
well, I just want a Sailor Moon abridged just so when it comes to Uranus and Neptune, it can be like, hi, we're cousins. We're from Alabama, and we love each other as lesbian incestual lovers.
Oh god, that was actually just so much fun.
I will never forget that early English dub of Sailor Moon. I will never forget it. Even as a child, I'm like, that's incest. I was basically someone who was cool with people as long as they loved and cared about each other being together. But incest is where I draw the line. So when they were cousins yet still acted like they wanted to fuck each other, I was like, this seems like incest.
Q's Banjo Boy from Deliverance.
God.
Squeal, piggy! Squeal! Whee!
Yeah, squeal like a big boy. Yeah. Oh, God, we're just having too much fun.
Oh yeah.
Okay, if we do the My Hero Academia bridge, someone has to be Mineta and say to Sue, squeal like a piggy, girl! Squeal!
Yes.
Because
Oh God.
because normally I wouldn't poke fun at people's weight, but I'm mad at Monica, I'm mad at Marchie, and they're fucking fat now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
I used to like Monica Rial, as she voiced many of my favorite characters. I mean, she voiced Haruka Shito from Razafon.
She also voiced
But
Mira Jane from Fairy Tale.
Oh, I remember watching Fairy Tale on Netflix when it was on Netflix, and you had Lucy looking at a magazine, and they had the bikini picture blurred out. I'm like, is she naked? Why is it blurred?
Oh God.
This is how stupid it's become. We're blurring out fucking bikinis, which makes it look worse.
Wonderful start blurring out One Piece suits.
Oh, yeah, that won't make people think she's running around on the beach naked.
Oh yeah, maybe we should bring back Bloomers from the old 1920s. That'll really stick it to the patriarchy.
Basically, if someone were to tell me I had to wear a traditional bathing suit, basically expecting me to wear the women's basically circus tent swimsuit, I would get an old timey man's swimsuit because it was basically a suit as well as opposed to the trunks. And if someone complained, I said, hey, you said a traditional swimsuit. This is a traditional swimsuit. And then if they're like, but it's meant for men, I'm like, you said a traditional swimsuit. And since men never wore just the trunks, I did what you said and wore a traditional swimsuit.
Yeah, that's just the thing with these people. They don't really care about, how great a person looks or like, what they don't understand the proverb, don't judge a book by its cover.
They're hideous, man-hating bull dykes is what they are.
Ding dong! Hello, that is correct, good sir.
I personally think the reason that they keep changing female characters to not have tits or to look like their male counterparts in drag, She-Hulk, is because they can't stand the fact that people, men or women, would rather look at comic book versions of a woman than them. I'm sorry people have certain tastes, sweetheart, and I don't mind muscles, but I kind of want my women to have tits.
Exactly, because I prefer looking at a woman with a nice pair of tits over like some androgynous looking chick. Like what does that
tits
look like?
nice, but I'm more of a booty kind of guy, dude.
Actually, let's go both tits and booty, or like
Well,
you know.
well, like Amethyst from Steven Universe, she's the exception to the rule because I like her personality. But if I had to choose someone from Steven Universe to date, I'd probably go with Rose because she has tits and an ass.
Yeah,
Because
because
I'm sorry, I like to have some tits to grab. If you don't have tits, don't expect me to look your way. That's why I don't really like women bodybuilders because they go too far and they end up not having tits. I don't mind muscles, but I want some tits if I'm gonna be going out with you.
Exactly. That's kind of why Sarah Connor got it so right. She's lean and muscular, yes, but she's still a woman deep down.
They ruined her in the newest movie. They ruined
That
her.
Dark Fate didn't happen. That was just bad fan fiction from a hack fraud.
Well, I was watching Doug Walker's, I forget if it was Terminator 2 or Terminator 1, but in the comments someone suggested, well, since John Connor only exists because his father comes from the future, what if he just faded from existence because they basically, prevented it from happening, and Sarah Connor not wanting to live without her son basically goes back and makes sure that it does happen so she ends up with her son. And I'm like, I would have rather that story better than what we got with that movie.
Yeah,
I'll take that over. I think I'll take that over what we got in Dark Fate, or Dark Fate as I'd like to call it.
I mean, this is the reason why I've said the only reason I accept the third movie is because that is a good point. If they prevented it from happening, how does John still exist? Because his father is from the future, meaning his father is a child right now. Now in the third movie.
I'll take the third movie over Dark Fate or Genesis any day. I mean, that, and I like the storytelling angle of the internet being Skynet. Because who fucking knew?
It wouldn't really be surprising. And considering Twitter, that might explain why Skynet decided, hey, maybe we should wipe humanity out.
I think that's what the internet is already planning on.
Oh, that would be an awesome movie if someone told James Cameron, now you need to say Twitter's toxicity with woke is what caused this. You have to do it. Trust me. I would pay good.
Dude, I would pay double the. Dude, I would pay full price for that.
I would pay full price and see it 20 times just to ensure Hollywood knows, hey, maybe we shouldn't listen to the woke if this Terminator movie is doing so well and it's making fun of SJWs.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
double has a Battle Angel Alita reference here and there.
Oh, Battle Angel Alita still sells out at full price. Meanwhile, Captain Marvel at my Walmart is like $2, and still no one buys it. And I hated the people who were like, well, Battle Angel Alita doesn't have a real body type.
Hang on, I'll be back.
She doesn't have a real body type. And I'm like, she's a robot. Of course she's not going to have a real body type. She's supposed to be a robot.
She is a freaking robot. Basically, these people don't understand that.
This ain't a thing where it's supposed to be a real human. No, she's supposed to be a robot. And it always annoys me because it's like, it's basically like a Barbie doll. She's not a real woman. Also, the horror of finding out, because I always knew that the creators of Barbie named her after their daughter, but Ken was named after their son. So that is so horrifying when you know that.
Ugh.
Incest much?
Sorry. Every time I hear that, I just gotta reply that way.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I found it adorable that they decided that their daughter, who at the time would be the demographic for the doll, was who they named the doll after. Then when you find out that Ken, Barbie's love interest before she broke up and dated another guy, was named after her brother, it's like, what are you implying?
Oh, God.
Because it's implying something that's not good. Barbie's children will have like 3 arms or something with what you're implying.
Ugh.
Forget that. Barbie's children will probably have 3 eyes and it isn't a keloid.
That would be super creepy, though. But
oh, there are doll artists that are good at editing Barbie dolls and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, well, like I saw someone style a Barbie doll's hair to look like Sailor Moon and made her a little outfit. But I've seen people make like zombie Barbie dolls and like you can see her jaw through a hole in her face.
Ooh.
They're able to add like little patches of gray skin or skin coming off the bone, and I'm like, how much to get a doll?
Oh man, I just had a really dumb idea for like my Magical Trap series that maybe I should actually put it like Magical Girl Friendship Squad. Like,
yes!
Dude, that would be freaking hilarious. Like,
well, what's the
have
power
like
thing for
protagonists actually poke fun at like
what's the
okay,
how does one get their powers in your thing?
Yes, like basically here's like my idea. Yes, like what kind of like magical girl like type of wand does he get? Then he actually thinks like is he gonna get like the magical bong in the form of Todd Selleck's head or like birth or like a birth control thingy? Like they actually have in like freaking
all the
magical
things to have a bong head for? Why Tom Selleck?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That one cutscene, I think it was from the pilot with like Gamergate and stuff, is what turned me off of giving the show a chance. Because I'm like, done. I don't need to watch the first
Yep.
episode. I'm done.
Oh, and not to
They
mention
just
they're
want to
also
actually make
bad
fun
in
of it.
anime too.
Oh,
And they always poke fun at
that makes me double done with it. And if I meet the creator, I'm going to slap her saying, what is the point of your show if you're not doing an homage to magical girl anime? What is the point of your show, you dumbass? Slap. What is the point of your show? Slap. What is the point of your show? Slap.
Yeah. I just don't know anymore. I just don't know.
Oh, dude. That would be like that one scene in The Dark Knight when Batman was going, where they push, where they punch, where they punch.
Someone
I'm on live stream
actually
right now.
someone actually used it in a try not to laugh challenge thing. If anyone remembers the screen cap someone did with Hero's aunt from Big Hero 6 having exposed titties pretty much, they show the actual scene and it's a regular shirt. And then you see Joker just sitting there, and Batman walks past the scene and starts slamming Joker, yelling, "Where are they?"
I probably would have lost.
Because that is misleading. I only watched Big Hero 6 once, and it was around the time that my mother passed away, so I kind of needed something to help release my depression at the time. Big Hero 6 was very good considering we see Hero's brother Tadashi die, but it shows how it didn't really leave an impact on me because the minute I saw that screenshot, I'm like, whoa, Disney, you getting brave or something?
Dude, Morgiana, we've been having Anime Gate for a long time now. It just wasn't televised.
In fact, basically, I'm just sick and tired of all these journalists, these journalists, mind you, saying that, we anime fans are actually misogynists, we're sexist, we're racists, we're homophobes, pedophiles, Nazis.
Dude, we're folks to these people.
If I could get a blog successful enough to review Disney movies and stuff, the minute Disney had me sign a contract or something, I would give a thing of, I liked the movie, it was nice, but they could have done this and this and this. Like, I managed to find a thing of Raya online for free. And I'm sorry, the only thing I enjoyed was the con artist baby thief. And that's just sad when the thing that can't even talk is more interesting than the main character.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And I only watched it because the trailer reminded me of the Dungeons and Dragons session. Because only a player would come up with this thing of a baby who robs people and has pet monkeys to help.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, the baby has pet monkeys that, while it's being a baby and crying to distract people, will steal from the people's horses and stuff.
My fucking God. People are that nuts? In D&D, no less?
Yes. The only lines we draw is racism, sexism, and anything implying rape, unless a player wants that to be part of their character's backstory.
See, that's why I'm glad the D&D campaign I'm in has none of that shit. I mean,
yeah, basically, I never really got into D&D because I never really played before, and
oh, D&D is amazing, dude. I mean, you probably should at least once.
There's this meme where it shows first character, which is like a simple rogue or something, human no less, and then you have character five that says, "I'm a time traveling witch who controls the weather."
Oh God.
And when I first saw it, I'm like, that'll never be me. Now I have a Scottish Selkie that doesn't see why walking around naked on land would be a problem.
But I actually got this. Well, one of the things that really got me into freaking D&D is this show called Harmon Quest, which actually was created by Dan Harmon. One of the two creators of Rick and Morty.
I gotta watch the show again. I'm just hoping someone does an Aarakocra, which are bird people, basically humanoid birds, not what we see in Rick and Morty, and just have them say "wubba lubba dub dub, bitches." Because that would be fucking hilarious.
So much fun.
And then they have a tragic backstory because wubba lubba dub dub means I am in great pain. Please help me.
Yeah.
Holy crap! That would actually get me to watch. That's Rick and Morty, and I'm not even a Rick and Morty fan.
Oh man, freaking Rick and Morty is just absolutely perfect because basically Rick is actually just so anti-heroic. Basically, he'll actually do whatever he can, and he actually just hates himself. And basically, he actually made this one point in one of the episodes.
Where, is it the thing where he and Jerry are hanging out at an amusement park?
Yeah, that, or like the part where they were actually at like a thief con, and basically all the audience was actually booing him, and he says, and I quote, "Yeah, go ahead and boo me. I know what makes you cheer."
I actually remember a YouTube comment.
I'm more a fan of Futurama, to be honest.
I actually remember a YouTube comment someone made with Rick and Morty on a thing of Undertale, and you have Jerry the monster, and they basically had it as if Rick was saying, "This is the Undertale universe. Jerry the monster is the Jerry of monsters." And it's like, and the only thing I could think of is, well, that is true, who is the Rick of monsters then? And then who is the Morty?
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, if I had to think of any character from Undertale representing Jerry from Rick and Morty, it would be Jerry the Monster. Not just because same name, but he's fucking annoying.
Yeah, he is.
Again, I prefer Futurama.
Oh, I would love to see Jerry put in Futurama and see how fast it would take for him to die.
Oh yeah,
God, that would be just super hilarious. Like, especially with Bender and stuff. I mean, Bender is like one of my favorite characters.
Bender is cooler than Rick. I'm sorry, Bender
is
the true Chad, man.
Futurama, where the reason the main characters, which would be the family, only go to the Futurama universe is because Bev's like, "You promised you'd spend time with your family," and Rick's like, "Oh, fuck." And he's like, "Come on, you come with me." And he's like, "Look, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go meet a colleague named Farnsworth. I think he's going senile. I don't know. I mean, he is like 160 or something."
Dude, that would be awesome to see. You're like,
I think Summer and Amy Wong would get along.
Yeah, in fact, Oh, geez, Rick. I don't think this is a good idea. Everything's not really such a good idea with you, Morty. That's like my best impersonation of both Rick and Morty from Justin Roiland.
I just imagine Morty hanging out with Fry, and it's somehow being implied that Fry is basically the Morty of that universe just because he somehow always manages to survive.
Yeah.
And then
Like I said,
it,
pretty much Rick and again, Fry is basically Morty.
Yeah, like Farnsworth is Rick.
I could see Leela asking Beth, why are you married to him? I mean, Leela gets with Fry, but at least Fry tries to protect Leela when the time comes. We see that Jerry would abandon Beth to be attacked by a crazed homeless man to keep himself safe.
Yeah, that does make sense. So, but anyway, I'll call it good for here. Good for now. So, you guys actually like to say any final words before I close it off?
Stop listening to the woke, Hollywood. This is why comics are losing to manga. Because you keep listening to the goddamn woke.
What she said.
Amen to that. Besides, anyway, as always, just remember these 3 things, guys. Respect the waifus, enjoy your fandoms, anime is freedom. And until the next one, this is Mr. Anime 343 saying, sayonara, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Later.